What's poppin', people? My name is Duckhead, and today I'd like to discuss whether or not the Dead by Daylight community is toxic. Now, 2 years ago, I made a video asking if the Dead by Daylight community was toxic and pondering over these things, and I came to the conclusion that no, the Dead by Daylight community wasn't toxic because it just simply didn't meet the threshold of what I considered toxic to be. And that's how I measure things. I measure things in thresholds, right? So, like, if I'm talking about gene regression being too strong or too weak, I have a certain threshold. If I'm talking about anti-tunneling being too strong or too weak, I have a certain threshold. If I'm talking about like a map being too strong or whatever the fuck, I have a certain threshold. So, like, with measuring whether or not Dead by Daylight community is toxic, I have a certain threshold, and that threshold has to at least rise to the level of like Modern Warfare 2 or GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. It has to at least rise to those levels because I've been through those communities. Those communities are fucking toxic. They are. Damn near every single time you got into a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, you have motherfuckers talking about your mother, talking about how they'll do unspeakable things to your sister, talking about hurling around racial slurs, homophobic slurs, and things of that nature, right? You had in GTA 5, it's more of the same. It's the same thing in GTA 5. GTA 5 reminds me a lot of the old Modern Warfare 2 era, right? So I do consider those communities to be toxic. So now I want to see if Dead by Daylight rises to the level of those communities. So in order to understand that, let's go over a list of things that are generally considered toxic in Dead by Daylight. Tunneling, flashlight clicking, hitting on the hook, slugging, teabagging, messaging people after games, cheating, and hacking. So the last three things, messaging people after games, cheating, and hacking, those are the only three things on that list, really, to be honest, that would push Dead by Daylight into being a toxic game. But I can't even like argue that, because if I were to argue that messaging people, calling them names, and cheating and hacking were things that made your community toxic, then I would have to concede that like every single online multiplayer game in the history of existence is toxic, because you can do those three things in every online multiplayer game. Every online multiplayer game is going to have cheaters. Every online multiplayer game is going to have hackers and people who message you if you piss them off, right? If you're trying to argue about whether or not your game is toxic, and like shit that highlights your list, it is tunneling, flashlight clicking, hitting on the hook, slugging, and teabagging, then your game is not toxic. If those are the things you're using to like argue about whether or not your game is toxic, then your game is not fucking toxic. It just isn't, right? Because all those things are just animations inside the game. That's all they are. When I think about something toxic, I think about something that can actually like harm you. Of course, not physically, because there's nothing that I can do in this game, like in the game, that can physically bring harm to you, like unless I swat you or some shit like that. But like, you know, messaging you and calling you a bad name, or like saying a bad name to you, doesn't like physically harm you. It can hurt your feelings though. So like there, I'd have to knock off some points of the toxicity scale, because Dead by Daylight does not have voice chat. It does not have voice chat, right? Those animations in the game, if they harm you, then you're kind of like you're soft, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like you have to toughen up a little bit, bro. You're just gonna have to toughen up a little bit. That shouldn't be like emotionally hurting you, getting teabagged and shit like that, right? So I just can't argue that shit like that as toxic. And you know, Dead by Daylight doesn't have voice chat. All it has is text. So and consoles don't even have in-game text chat, right? If you really want to fucking be an asshole to somebody on console who pissed you off in Dead by Daylight or whatever the fuck you want to message them, you have to like directly find their profile and then message them, and you gotta hope that they're on the same platform as you. And then on top of that, you have to hope that they don't have their messaging blocked, right? Because on PlayStation, there's a feature where you can just block people from messaging you, right? On Xbox, there's a feature like that as well. On Switch, I don't even think you can message people on Switch, if I'm not mistaken. I have a Switch and I can't message anybody unless they change it. In PC, the PC's the only platform that has like the in-game chat, and everything in that chat is just censored. Everything's censored. Like, I can't call you a fucking retard in Dead by Daylight chat. It's censored. I can't call you I wouldn't call anybody this. I can't call you a faggot in in-game chat. This shit's censored, right? I can't call you a nigga in in-game chat. This shit's censored, right? So the worst thing someone can say to you is like GG easy, right? Or KYS, which kill yourself is terrible, right? But they have to say KYS. They can't even say kill yourself. So like I can't see where people would argue that this game is toxic, because the opportunities for you to be toxic in Dead by Daylight are so limited that you have to like kind of go out of your way to be an asshole to somebody. And then on top of that, you don't even have a lot of avenues to be an asshole to somebody. Now, I was kind of close to saying that this game community was toxic. I was really close because of like the witch hunting situation that go on in this game. Like the shit with True Talent. And like right off the bat, I'm not trying to say that like True Talent is infallible, right? I'm not trying to say that, oh, he can do no wrong or whatever. He's done no wrong. He said a lot of things that I disagree with or whatever the fuck. I'm not going to get into them in this video, but he said a lot of things I disagree with. He says some things I agree with, but he said a lot of things that I disagree with as well. But the way that people like fucking attack him, no matter what the fuck he says, is crazy to me. Like, he was talking about fucking filters, and people just started fucking attacking him. He said, oh, you know, filters, they give you an advantage or whatever the fuck. It was a fun experiment that I did. And people just started fucking attacking him and dogpiling him, which was fucking crazy. It was just crazy. Like he's over here talking about filters, and people just start dogpiling him. I was about to say that rose to the level of toxicity, but I had to take a step back and remember, the Dead by Daylight Twitter does not represent the majority of the Dead by Daylight player base. You still have people who don't consume any Dead by Daylight media, so like they don't really watch any YouTube videos to even know who True Talent is. They don't follow anything on Twitter. They don't follow anything on TikTok, things of that nature. They may get all their information from Facebook or whatever the fuck. So like a majority of the community probably does not even know who True Talent is, right? So I can't really even say that like how people witch hunt True Talent and how they fucking dogpile this motherfucker, I can't really even say that rise to the level of toxicity. And it's not just True Talent, it's with a lot of people in the Dead by Daylight community. I've seen that happen with a lot of people. There was even this motherfucker who was doing a blight streak or whatever the fuck, and he got his blight streak broken. He raged about it. I mean, he raged. That's all he did. And he got dogpiled on Twitter. People were fucking shitting on him. A prominent YouTuber, who I won't mention the name of, made an entire video about how stupid his streak was. But that doesn't really rise to the level of toxicity, in my opinion. I just don't think it does. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that Dead by Daylight is toxic? Let me know in the comment section. I just really don't think it is, bro. And on top of that, I didn't even mention this. Dead by Daylight is a very accepting community. Like, they're very accepting. Like, they made David King gay. They made that man gay. And the community like ships David King and Dwight, and it's like accepted. It's like widely accepted by a lot of fucking people. It's widely accepted. Like, people didn't get pitchforks and throw them at behavior when they made David King gay. Go ahead and go to the fucking Call of Duty community and make Captain Price gay, or make Mason fucking gay, right? Or make fucking Woods gay. If you did that shit, or Hudson, if you did that shit, they would burn that fucking community to the fucking ground if you did that. They would just burn it to the goddamn ground, right? So, like, that's another thing. Dead by Daylight is a very accepting community. Very, very accepting. But anyway, let me know what you think, bro. Do you think that Dead by Daylight is a toxic community? Let me know. Before I get into my outro, there are some things that I forgot to address. I think that people mistake tribalism with being toxic. I don't think that being tribalistic is toxic. You know, with the whole killer main versus survivor main mentality. It just causes people to argue a lot and bicker, but I don't think that rises to the level of toxicity. Now, within that arguing and bickering, you could have people hurling slurs back and forth at each other, but I generally don't see that, unless someone's just calling you stupid or something like that. I generally don't see that in Dead by Daylight. They just, you know, they're in a condescending way. Oh, say you're a survivor main without saying you're a survivor main. Things of that nature. Also, I think that people misconstrue like complaining and whining with toxicity. I don't believe that complaining and whining necessarily rises to the level of toxicity. Now, Dead by Daylight is a very whining community, but I don't think that can make it toxic, in my opinion. I just don't think it can. I know I keep saying this at the end of my videos, bro. I know. I'm sorry. I haven't been uploading. All right. I'm about to have a lot more free time. It's summer vacation, so I'm gonna have to have a lot more fucking free time to upload videos. So you should expect me to get back to doing what I do very, very soon. Right? I'm gonna be posting a lot on my on my second channel as well, so I can play the finals or whatever the fuck. Just stay tuned for content, man. I'm sorry I keep going a long time without uploading videos. But anyway, we're gonna get back to it. I'm out this bitch. Y'all have a good one. Bye! Go on.
Somebody can tell me that I'm him. The fuck around and put my whole city on my back. I carry that bitch like Jim. And I ain't gotta wear no mask for a lot of these folks. I get on these dresses, go dumb, and I go dumb. Somebody better tell these folks, goddamn it, I've been that dude. I think I might pop my shit. Somebody better tell these folks that I'm him. The fuck around and put my whole city on my back.